We're dealing with Saul's jealousy, and this is a cool section, and I ended up omitting a number of parts of it. Not anything that was actually included in the traditional lectionaries, but stuff that I thought was important to have because it's such a great story, and you want to get the whole story of David, but there's just so much. Here you get the origins of a lot of David's psalms, and we will hear many of them as we go through. The jealousy of Saul. This is not a Bible study. Episode 15. Jealousy of Saul. And this is sometime after 1022 BC, starting. And the day after the evil spirit from God came upon Saul, and he prophesied in the midst of his house. And David played with his hand as at other times. And Saul held a spear in his hand and threw it, thinking to nail David to the wall. And David stepped aside out of his presence twice. And Saul feared David because the Lord was with him and was departed from himself. Therefore Saul removed him from him, and made him a captain over 1,000 men. And he went out and came in before the people. And David behaved wisely in all his ways, and the Lord was with him. And Saul saw that he was exceedingly prudent, and began to beware of him. But all Israel and Judah loved David, for he came in and went out before them. And Saul said to David, Behold my elder daughter Merab. I will give her to you to wife. Only be a valiant man and fight the battles of the Lord. Now Saul said within himself, Let not my hand be upon him, but let the hands of the Philistines be upon him. And Saul spoke to Jonathan his son and to all his servants that they should kill David. But Jonathan the son of Saul loved David exceedingly. And Jonathan told David, saying, Saul my father seeks to kill you. Therefore look to yourself, I beg you, in the morning, and you shall abide in a secret place and shall be hid. And I will go out and stand beside my father in the field where you are. And I will speak of you to my father, and whatsoever I shall see I will tell you. And Jonathan spoke good things of David to Saul his father, and said to him, Do not sin, O king, against your servant David, because he has not sinned against you, and his works are very good towards you. And he put his life in his hand, and slew the Philistine, and the Lord wrought great salvation for all Israel. You saw it, and rejoiced. Why therefore will you sin against innocent blood by killing David, who is without fault? And when Saul heard this, he was appeased with the words of Jonathan, and swore, As the Lord lives, he will not be slain. And the war began again, and David went out and fought against the Philistines, and defeated them with a great slaughter, and they fled from his face. And the evil spirit from the Lord came upon Saul, and he sat in his house, and held a spear in his hand, and David played with his hand. And Saul endeavored to nail David to the wall with his spear. And David slipped away out of the presence of Saul, and the spear missed him and was fastened in the wall, and David fled and escaped that night. Saul therefore sent his guards to David's house to watch him, that he might be killed in the morning. And when Michal, David's wife, had told him this, saying, Unless you save yourself this night, tomorrow you will die, she let him down through a window. But David fled and escaped, and came to Samuel in Ramathah, and told him all that Saul had done to him. And he and Samuel went and dwelled in Naioth. Psalm 58. Unto the end destroy not, for David for an inscription of a title, when Saul sent and watched his house to kill him. Deliver me from my enemies, O my God, and defend me from them that rise up against me. Deliver me from them that work iniquity, and save me from bloody men. For behold, they have caught my soul, the mighty have rushed in upon me. Neither is it my iniquity nor my sin, O Lord. Without iniquity have I run and directed my steps. Rise up to meet me, and behold, even you, Lord, the God of hosts, the God of Israel. Attend to visit all the nations. Have no mercy on all them that work iniquity. They shall return at evening, and shall suffer hunger like dogs, and shall go round about the city. Behold, they shall speak with their mouth, and a sword is in their lips. For who, they say, has hurt us? But you, O Lord, shall laugh at them. You shall bring all the nations to nothing. I will keep my strength to you, for you are my protector. My God, his mercy shall prevent me. God shall let me see over my enemies. Do not slay them, lest at any time my people forget. Scatter them by your power, and bring them down, O Lord, my protector. For the sin of their mouth and the word of their lips, and let them be taken in their pride. And for their cursing and lying, they shall be talked of when they are consumed by your wrath, and they shall know that God will rule Jacob and all the ends of the earth. They shall return at evening, and shall suffer hunger like dogs, and they shall go round about the city. They shall be scattered abroad to eat, and shall murmur if they be not filled. But I will sing your strength, and will extol your mercy in the morning. For you are become my support, and my refuge in the day of my trouble. Unto you, O my helper, will I sing. For you are God my defense, my God my mercy. But David fled from Naioth, which is in Ramathah, and came and said to Jonathan, What have I done? What is my iniquity, and what is my sin against your father, that he seeks my life? And he said to him, God forbid, you shall not die, for my father will do nothing great or little without first telling me. Has then my father hid this word only from me? No, this shall not be. And he swore again to David. And David said, Your father certainly knows that I have found grace in your sight, and he will say, Let not Jonathan know this, lest he be grieved. But truly as the Lord lives, and your soul lives, there is but one step, as I may say, between me and death. And Jonathan said to David, Whatever your soul shall say to me, I will do for you. And David said to Jonathan, Behold, tomorrow is the new moon, and I, according to custom, am wont to sit beside the king to eat. Let me go then, that I may be hid in the field till the evening of the third day. If your father look and inquire for me, you shall answer him. David asked me that he might run to Bethlehem, his own city, because there are solemn sacrifices there for all of his tribe. If he shall say, It is well, your servant shall have peace. But if he be angry, know that his malice is come to its height. And David came to Nob, to Ahimelech the priest. And Ahimelech was astonished at David's coming. And he said to him, Why are you alone, and no man with you? And David said to Ahimelech the priest, The king has commanded me a business, and said, Let no man know the thing for which you are sent by me, and what manner of commands I have given you. And I have appointed my servants to such and such a place. Now therefore, if you have anything at hand, though it were but 5 loaves, give me, or whatever you can find. And the priest answered David, saying, I have no common bread at hand, but only holy bread. If the young men be clean, especially from women? And David answered the priest and said to him, Truly, as to what concerns women, we have refrained ourselves from yesterday and the day before, when we came out, and the vessels of the young men were holy. Now this way is defiled, but it shall also be sanctified this day in the vessels. The priest therefore gave him hallowed bread, for there was no bread there, but only the loaves of proposition, which had been taken away from before the face of the Lord, that hot loaves might be set up. Now a certain man of the servants of Saul was there that day within the tabernacle of the Lord, and his name was Doeg, an Edomite, the chiefest of Saul's herdsmen. And David said to Ahimelech, "Do you have here a hand, a spear, or a sword? For I did not bring my own sword nor my own weapons with me, for the king's business required haste." And the priest said, "Look, here is the sword of Goliath the Philistine, whom you slew in the valley of the Terebinth, wrapped up in a cloth behind the ephod. If you will take this, take it, for there is no other here but this." And David said, "There is none like that. Give it to me." And David arose and fled that day from the face of Saul, and came to Achish, the king of Gath. Psalm 33. For David, when he changed his countenance before Ahimelech, who dismissed him, and he went his way. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall be always in my mouth. In the Lord shall my soul be praised. Let the meek hear and rejoice. Magnify the Lord with me, and let us extol his name together. I sought the Lord, and he heard me, and he delivered me from all my troubles. Come to him and be enlightened, and your faces shall not be confounded. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him, and saved him out of all his troubles. The angel of the Lord shall encamp round about them that fear him, and shall deliver them. Taste and see that the Lord is sweet. Blessed is the man that hopes in him. Fear the Lord, all his saints, for there is no want to them that fear him. The rich have wanted and have suffered hunger, but they that seek the Lord shall not be deprived of any good. Come, children, hearken to me. I will teach you the fear of the Lord. Who is the man that desires life, who lives to see good days? Keep your tongue from evil, and your lips from speaking guile. Turn away from evil and do good. Seek after peace and pursue it. The eyes of the Lord are upon the just, and his ears unto their prayers. But the countenance of the Lord is against them that do evil things, to cut off the remembrance of them from the earth. The just cried, and the Lord heard them, and delivered them out of all their troubles. The Lord is near to them that are of a contrite heart, and he will save the humble of spirit. Many are the afflictions of the just, but out of them all will the Lord deliver them. The Lord is near to them that are of a contrite heart, and he will save the humble of spirit. The death of the wicked is very evil, and they that hate the just shall be guilty. The Lord will redeem the souls of his servants, and none of them that trust in him shall offend. The servants of Achish, when they saw David, said to him, "Is this not David, the king of the land? Did they not sing to him in their dances, saying, Saul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s? But David laid up these words in his heart, and was exceedingly afraid at the face of Achish, the king of Gath. And he changed his countenance before them, and slipped down between their hands, and he stumbled against the doors of the gate, and his spittle ran down upon his beard. And Achish said to his servants, You saw the man was mad. Why have you brought him to me? Do we have a need of madmen that you have brought in this fellow to play the madman in my presence? Shall this fellow come into my house?" Psalm 55. Unto the end, for a people that is removed at a distance from the sanctuary, for David, for an inscription of a title when the Philistines held him in Gath. Have mercy on me, O God, for man has trodden me underfoot. All the day long he has afflicted me, fighting against me. My enemies have trodden on me all the day long, for they are many that make war against me. From the height of day I shall fear, but I will trust in you. In God I will praise my words. In God I have put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do against me. All the day long they detested my words. All their thoughts were against me unto evil. They will dwell and hide themselves. They will watch my heel. As they have waited for my soul, for nothing shall you save them. In your anger you shall break the people in pieces. I have declared to you my life. You have set me tears in my sight, as also in your promise. Then shall my enemies be turned back. In what day soever I shall call upon you, behold, I know you are my God. In God will I praise the word. In the Lord will I praise his speech. In God have I hoped. I will not fear what man can do to me. In me, O God, are vows to you, which I will pay, praises to you, because you have delivered my soul from death, my feet from falling, that I may please in the sight of the God in the light of the living. David therefore went from there and fled to the cave of Adullam. And when his brothers and all his father's house had heard of it, they went down to him there. And all that were in distress and oppressed with debt and under affliction of mind gathered themselves to him, and he became their prince. And there were with him about 400 men. Psalm 141, of understanding for David, a prayer when he was in the cave. I cried to the Lord with my voice. With my voice I made supplication to the Lord. In his sight I pour out my prayer, and before him I declare my trouble. When my spirit failed me, then you knew my paths. In this way wherein I walked they have hidden a snare for me. I looked on my right hand and beheld, and there was no one that would know me. Flight has failed me, and there is no one that has regard to my soul. I cried to you, O Lord. I said, you are my hope, my portion in the land of the living. Attend to my supplication, for I am brought very low. Deliver me from my persecutors, for they are stronger than I. Bring my soul out of prison, that I may praise your name. The just wait for me until you reward me. And David departed from there into Maspah of Moab. And he said to the king of Moab, let my father and my mother tarry with you, I beg you, till I know what God will do for me. And he left them under the eyes of the king of Moab, and they abode with him all the days that David was in the hold. And Gad the prophet said to David, do not abide in the hold. Depart and go into the land of Judah. And David departed and came into the forest of Haret. And Saul heard that David was seen, and the men that were with him. Now, while Saul abode in Gibeah, and was in the wood which is by Ramah, having his spear in his hand, and all his servants were standing about him, he said to his servants that stood about him, hear me now, you sons of Jemni. Will the son of Jesse give every one of you fields and vineyards, and make you all tribunes and centurions, that all of you have conspired against me, and there is no one to inform me, especially when even my son has entered into league with the son of Jesse? There is not one of you that pities my case, nor that gives me any information, because my son has raised up my servant against me, plotting against me to this day. And Doeg the Edomite, who stood by, and was the chief among the servants of Saul, answering said, I saw the son of Jesse in Nob with Ahimelech, the son of Ahitub, the priest. And he consulted the Lord for him, and gave him victuals, and gave him the sword of Goliath, the Philistine. Then the king sent to call for Ahimelech, the priest, the son of Ahitub, and all his father's house, the priests that were in Nob, and they came, all of them, to the king. And Saul said to Ahimelech, hear, you son of Ahitub. He answered, here I am, my lord. And Saul said to him, "Why have you conspired against me, you and the son of Jesse? And you have given him bread and a sword, and have consulted the Lord for him, that he should rise up against me, continue a traitor to this day." And Ahimelech answering the king said, "And who among all your servants is so faithful as David, who is the king's son-in-law, and goes forth at your bidding, and is honorable in your house? Did I begin today to consult the Lord for him? Far be this from me. Do not let the king suspect such a thing against his servant, or anyone in all my father's house, for your servant knew nothing of this matter, either little or great." And the king said, "Dying you shall die, Ahimelech, you and all your father's house." And the king said to the messengers that stood about him, "Turn and kill the priests of the Lord, for their hand is with David, because they knew that he was fled, and they didn't tell it to me." And the king's servants would not put forth their hands against the priests of the Lord. And the king said to Doeg, "You turn and fall upon the priests." And Doeg the Edomite turned and fell upon the priests, and slew in that day 85 men that wore the linen ephod. And Nob, the city of the priests, he smote with the edge of the sword, both men and women, children and sucklings, and ox and ass and sheep with the edge of the sword. But one of the sons of Ahimelech, the son of Ahitub, whose name was Abiathar, escaped and fled to David, and told him that Saul had slain the priests of the Lord. And David said to Abiathar, "I knew that day when Doeg the Edomite was there that without doubt he would tell Saul. I have been the occasion of the death of all the souls of your father's house. Abide with me, do not fear, for he that seeks my life seeks your life also, and with me you shall be saved." Psalm 51, unto the end, understanding for David. When Doeg the Edomite came and told Saul, David went to the house of Ahimelech. Why do you glory in malice, you that are mighty in iniquity? All the day long your tongue has devised injustice. As a sharp razor you have wrought deceit. You have loved malice more than goodness, and iniquity rather than to speak righteousness. You have loved all the words of ruin, O deceitful tongue. Therefore will God destroy you forever. He will pluck you out and remove you from your dwelling place, and your root out of the land of the living. The just shall see and fear, and shall laugh at him and say, Behold the man that did not make God his helper, but trusted in the abundance of his riches, and prevailed in his vanity. But I, as a fruitful olive tree in the house of God, have hoped in the mercy of God forever, yes, forever and ever. I will praise you forever because you have done it, and I will wait on your name, for it is good in the sight of your saints. And they told David, saying, Behold, the Philistines fight against Keilah, and they rob the barns. Therefore David consulted the Lord, saying, Shall I go and smite these Philistines? And the Lord said to David, Go, and you shall smite the Philistines, and shall save Keilah. And the men that were with David said to him, Behold, we are in fear here in Judah. How much more if we go to Keilah against the bands of the Philistines? Therefore David consulted the Lord again. And he answered and said to him, Arise and go to Keilah, for I will deliver the Philistines into your hand. David therefore and his men went to Keilah and fought against the Philistines, and brought away their cattle, and made a great slaughter of them. And David saved the inhabitants of Keilah. And David saw that Saul was come out to seek his life, and David was in the desert of Ziph in wood. And Jonathan, the son of Saul, arose and went to David into the wood, and strengthened his hands in God. And he said to him, Do not fear, for the hand of my father Saul shall not find you, and you shall reign over Israel, and I shall be next to you. Yes, and my father knows this. And they two made a covenant before the Lord. And David abode in the wood, but Jonathan returned to his house. And the Ziphites went up to Saul in Gibeah, saying, Look, does not David lie hid with us in the strongholds of the wood in Mount Hachilah, which is on the right hand of the desert? Now therefore come down, as your soul has desired to come down, and it shall be our business to deliver him into the king's hands. And Saul said, Blessed be you of the Lord, for you have pitied my case. Go therefore, I pray you, and use all diligence, and curiously inquire, and consider the place where his foot is, and who has seen him there. For he thinks of me that I lie craftily in wait for him. Consider and see all his lurking holes wherein he is hid, and return to me with the certainty of the thing, that I may go with you. And if he should even go down into the earth to hide himself, I will search him out in all the thousands of Judah. And they arose and went to Ziph before Saul, and David and his men were in the desert of Maon in the plain at the right hand of Jesimon. Psalm 53. Unto the end, in verses, understanding for David, when the men of Ziph had come and said to Saul, Is not David hidden with us? Save me, O God, by your name, and judge me in your strength. God, hear my prayer, give ear to the words of my mouth. For strangers have risen up against me, and the mighty have sought after my soul, and they have not set God before their eyes. For behold, God is my helper, and Lord is the protector of my soul. Turn back the evils upon my enemies, and cut them off in your truth. I will freely sacrifice to you, and will give praise, O God, to your name, because it is good. For you have delivered me out of all trouble, and my eye has looked down upon my enemies. Then Saul and his men went to seek him, and it was told David, and immediately he went down to the rock and abode in the wilderness of Maon. And when Saul had heard of it, he pursued after David in the wilderness of Maon. And Saul went on this side of the mountain, and David and his men were on the other side of the mountain. And David despaired of being able to escape from the face of Saul. And Saul and his men encompassed David and his men round about to take them. And a messenger came to Saul, saying, Make haste to come, for the Philistines have poured in themselves on the land. Therefore Saul returned, leaving the pursuit of David, and went to meet the Philistines. For this cause they called that place the Rock of Division. Then David went up from there and dwelt in the strongholds of En-gadi. And when Saul was returned from following the Philistines, they told him, saying, Behold, David is in the desert of En-gadi. Saul therefore took 3,000 chosen men out of all Israel, and went out to seek after David and his men, even upon the most craggy rocks, which are accessible only to wild goats. And he came to the sheepcotes which were in his way, and there was a cave into which Saul went to ease nature. Now David and his men lay hid in the inner part of the cave. And the servants of David said to him, Behold, the day of which the Lord said to you, I will deliver your enemy to you, that you may do to him as it shall seem good in your eyes. Then David arose and secretly cut off the hem of Saul's robe, after which David's heart struck him because he had cut off the hem of Saul's robe. And he said to his men, "The Lord be merciful to me, that I may do no such thing to my master, the Lord's anointed, as to lay my hand upon him, because he is the Lord's anointed." And David stopped his men with his words, and did not suffer them to rise against Saul. But Saul, rising up out of the cave, went on his way. And David also rose up after him, and going out of the cave, cried after Saul, saying, "My lord the king!" And Saul looked behind him, and David, bowing himself to the ground, worshipped, and said to Saul, "Why do you hear the words of men that say, 'David seeks your hurt'? Behold, this day your eyes have seen that the Lord has delivered you into my hand in the cave, and I had a thought to kill you, but my eye has spared you. For I said, I will not put out my hand against my Lord, because he is the Lord's anointed. Moreover, see and know, O my father, the hem of your robe in my hand, that when I cut off the hem of your robe, I would not put out my hand against you. Reflect and see that there is no evil in my hand, nor iniquity, neither have I sinned against you. But you lie in wait for my life to take it away. The Lord judge between me and you, and the Lord revenge me of you, but my hand shall not be upon you. As also it is said in the old proverb, from the wicked shall wickedness come forth. Therefore my hand shall not be upon you. After whom do you come out, O King of Israel? After whom do you pursue? After a dead dog, after a flea. Be the Lord my judge, and judge between me and you, and see, and judge my cause, and deliver me out of your hand." And when David had made an end of speaking these words to Saul, Saul said, "Is this your voice, my son David?" And Saul lifted up his voice and wept. And he said to David, "You are more just than I, for you have done good to me, and I have rewarded you with evil. And you have showed this day what good things you have done to me, how the Lord delivered me into your hand, and you have not killed me. For who, when he has found his enemy, will let him go away well? But the Lord reward you for this good turn, for what you have done to me this day. And now, as I know that you shall surely be king, and have the kingdom of Israel in your hand, swear to me by the Lord that you will not destroy my seed after me, nor take away my name from the house of my father." And David swore to Saul. So Saul went home, and David and his men went up into safer places. Psalm 56. Unto the end, destroy not for David, for an inscription of a title when he fled from Saul into the cave. Have mercy on me, O God, have mercy on me, for my soul trusts in you. And in the shadow of your wings will I hope until iniquity pass away. I will cry to God the Most High, to God who has done good to me. He has sent from heaven and delivered me. He has made them a reproach that trod upon me. God has sent his mercy and his truth, and he has delivered my soul from the midst of the young lions. I slept troubled. The sons of men, whose teeth are weapons and arrows, and their tongue a sharp sword. Be exalted, O God, above the heavens, and your glory above all the earth. They prepared a snare for my feet, and they bowed down my soul. They dug a pit before my face, and they are fallen into it. My heart is ready, O God, my heart is ready. I will sing and rehearse a psalm. Arise, O my glory, arise, psaltery and harp. I will arise early. I will give praise to you, O Lord, among the people. I will sing a psalm to you among the nations. For your mercy is magnified even to the heavens, and your truth unto the clouds. Be exalted, O God, above the heavens, and your glory above all the earth. We're now come to 1012 BC. And Samuel died, and all Israel was gathered together, and they mourned for him, and buried him in his house in Ramah. And David rose and went down into the wilderness of Paran. And David said in his heart, I shall one day or another fall into the hands of Saul. Is it not better for me to flee and to be saved in the land of the Philistines, that Saul may despair of me and cease to seek me in all the coast of Israel? I will flee then out of his hands. And David arose and went away, both he and the 600 men that were with him, to Achish, the son of Maoch, king of Gath. And David dwelt with Achish at Gath, he and his men, every man with his household, and David with his 2 wives, Ahinoam the Jezreelitess, and Abigail, the wife of Nabal of Carmel. And it was told Saul that David was fled to Gath, and he no longer sought after him. And David said to Achish, If I have found favor in your sight, let a place be given me in one of the cities of this country, that I may dwell there. For why should your servant dwell in the royal city with you? Then Achish gave him Ziklag that day, for which reason Ziklag belongs to the kings of Judah unto this day. And the time that David dwelt in the country of the Philistines was 4 months. And David and his men went up and pillaged Geshuri and Gerzi and the Amalekites. For these were of old the inhabitants of the countries, as men go to Sur, even to the land of Egypt. And David wasted all the land, and left neither man nor woman alive, and took away the sheep and the oxen, and the asses and the camels and the apparel, and returned and came to Achish. And Achish said to them, Whom have you gone against today? David answered, Against the south of Judah, and against the south of Jerahmeel, and against the south of Keni. And David saved neither man nor woman, neither did he bring any of them to Gath, saying, Lest they should speak against us. So did David do, and such was his proceeding all the days that he dwelt in the country of the Philistines. And Achish believed David, saying, He has done much harm to his people Israel, therefore he shall be my servant forever. And it came to pass in those days, 1010 BC, that the Philistines gathered together their armies to be prepared for war against Israel. And Achish said to David, Know now assuredly that you shall go out with me to the war, you and your men. And David said to Achish, Now you shall know what your servant will do. And Achish said to David, And I will appoint you to guard my life forever. Now Samuel was dead, and all Israel mourned for him and buried him in Ramah his city. And Saul had put away all the magicians and soothsayers out of the land. And the Philistines were gathered together and came and camped in Shunem. And Saul also gathered together all Israel and came to Gilboa. And Saul saw the army of the Philistines and was afraid, and his heart was very much dismayed. And he consulted the Lord, and he did not answer him, neither by dreams, nor by priests, nor by prophets. And Saul said to his servants, Seek me a woman that has a divining spirit, and I will go to her and inquire by her. And his servant said to him, There is a woman that has a divining spirit at Endor. Then he disguised himself and put on other clothes. And he went, and 2 men with him. And they came to the woman by night, and said to her, Divine to me by your divining spirit, and bring me up him whom I shall tell you. And the woman said to him, Behold, you know all that Saul has done, and how he has rooted out the magicians and soothsayers from the land. Why then do you lay a snare for my life to cause me to be put to death?" And Saul swore to her by the Lord, saying, "As the Lord lives, there shall no evil happen to you for this thing." And the woman said to him, "Whom shall I bring up to you?" And he said, "Bring me up Samuel." And when the woman saw Samuel, she cried out with a loud voice and said to Saul, "Why have you deceived me? For you are Saul." And the king said to her, "Do not fear. What have you seen?" And the woman said to Saul, "I saw gods ascending out of the earth." And he said to her, "What form is he of?" And she said, "An old man comes up, and he is covered with a mantle." And Saul understood that it was Samuel, and he bowed himself with his face to the ground and adored. And Samuel said to Saul, "Why have you disturbed my rest that I should be brought up?" And Saul said, "I am in great distress, for the Philistines fight against me, and God has departed from me, and would not hear me, neither by the hand of prophets nor by dreams. Therefore have I called you, that you may show me what I shall do." And Samuel said, "Why do you ask me, seeing the Lord is departed from you and is gone over to your rival? For the Lord will do to you as he spoke by me, and he will rend the kingdom out of your hand and will give it to your neighbor David. Because you did not obey the voice of the Lord, neither did you execute the wrath of his indignation upon Amalek. Therefore has the Lord done to you what you suffer this day. And the Lord also will deliver Israel with you into the hands of the Philistines, and tomorrow you and your sons shall be with me. And the Lord will also deliver the army of Israel into the hands of the Philistines." Now all the troops of the Philistines were gathered together to Aphek, and Israel also encamped by the fountain which is in Jezreel. And the lords of the Philistines marched with their hundreds and their thousands, but David and his men were in the rear with Achish. And the princes of the Philistines said to Achish, What do these Hebrews mean?" And Achish said to the princes of the Philistines, "Do you not know David, who is the servant of Saul, the king of Israel, and has been with me many days or years, and I have found no fault in him since the day he fled over to me until this day?" But the princes of the Philistines were angry with him, and they said to him, "Let this man return and abide in his place which you have appointed him, and do not let him go down with us to battle, lest he be an adversary to us when we shall begin to fight. For how can he otherwise appease his master but with our heads? Is this not David, to whom they sung in their dances, saying, 'Saul slew his thousands, and David his 10,000s?'" Then Achish called David and said to him, "As the Lord lives, you are an upright and good in my sight, and so is your going out and your coming in with me in the army, and I have not found any evil in you, since the day that you came to me until this day. But you do not please the lords. Return therefore and go in peace, and do not offend in the eyes of the princes of the Philistines." And David said to Achish, "But what have I done, or what have you found in me your servant from the day that I have been in your sight until this day, that I may not go and fight against the enemies of my lord the king?" And Achish answering said to David, "I know that you are good in my sight, as an angel of God, but the princes of the Philistines have said, 'He shall not go up with us to the battle.' Therefore arise in the morning, you and the servants of your Lord, who came with you, and when you are up before day, and it shall begin to be light, go on your way." So David and his men arose in the night, that they might set forward in the morning, and return to the land of the Philistines. And the Philistines went up to Jezreel. And the Philistines fought against Israel, and the men of Israel fled from before the Philistines. and fell down slain in Mount Gilboa. And the Philistines fell upon Saul and upon his sons, and they slew Jonathan and Abinadab and Melchishua, the sons of Saul. And the whole weight of the battle was turned upon Saul, and the archers overtook him, and he was grievously wounded by the archers. And on the morning the Philistines came to strip the slain, and they found Saul and his 3 sons lying in Mount Gilboa. And they cut off Saul's head, and stripped him of his armor, and sent into the land of the Philistines round about to publish it in the temples of their idols and among their people. And they put his armor in the temple of Ashtaroth, but his body they hung on the wall of Bethzan. Now when the inhabitants of Jabesh Gilead heard all that the Philistines had done to Saul, all the most valiant men arose and walked all the night, and took the body of Saul and the bodies of his sons from the wall of Bethzan. And they came to Jabesh Gilead and burnt them there. And they took their bones and buried them in the woods of Jabesh, and fasted 7 days. A little thing to note about, there's some significance to the Jabesh Gilead business here. So Jabesh Gilead, of course, is in Gilead on the east side of the Jordan. And the first thing we have to look to is why are they so interested in helping out the situation of Saul? They had a great deal of respect for Saul, because when Saul was first becoming king, this story was not included in here, one of the things that really established Saul in his kingship was when he came with 600 of his men to free Jabesh Gilead from being taken over by one of the kings over on the east. But it's interesting, some of the background to that event, because when we go back again to the story of Gibeah, where Benjamin was almost destroyed, Gibeah, that town that Saul is from, and there were only 600 fighting men of Benjamin, Saul's tribe, left. What happened? Where did they get wives? So the problem was that the Israelites had sworn an oath that they would not give their daughters to the sons of Benjamin for wives. And now there's only 600 men of Benjamin and no women or children, and they're going to go extinct, aren't they? But as it turned out, the people of Jabesh Gilead did not show up for the battle, which meant that out of all of the cities of Israel, Jabesh Gilead did not take the oath. And so, it's terrible. What they did is they kidnapped 300 of the girls of Jabesh Gilead and gave them to wives of half of the Benjaminite soldiers. Now, isn't that interesting? First of all, you have the situation then that there's a really good chance that Saul is actually a cousin of all these people in Jabesh Gilead. Now, the circumstances of how that came about are not great, but then it's interesting that Saul comes with 600 of his men when Jabesh Gilead had lost their daughters because of these 600 men, maybe 200 years earlier. And on top of that Saul's carrying out that action with respect to Jabesh Gilead is what really confirms him as king for Israel, and rightly so, because it's kind of removing the shame of Benjamin from before the whole face of Israel. So that's kind of neat. Have a good day.